Intermission. Violin on a clear day. Elliot Howard would be turning 7 that year. He was tall compared to other boys his age, and he was skilled at both book learning and physical activities. He was a quick study at everything. That was why he'd been chosen as the second prince's playmate. Duke Clockford invited him to his estate on a regular basis, where he'd play with Felix, still convalescing with his grandfather, and teach him things like violin and chess. A pattering, clinging rain was falling that day. Elliot hated rain. It got his clothes wet, made his hair frizzy, and muffled his violin. There was nothing good about rainy days. He didn't want to go out in the rain, and he didn't want to play violin, either. But his father had ordered him to. "Elliot," he'd said, "go practice your violin with the prince today." He'd thought. Just the idea of having to go anywhere on a rainy day depressed him. And his father wanted him to practice violin, too. If he played, and the rain muffled the sounds, he knew his father would scold him. But the man was so strict. There was no way Elliot could tell him, "I don't want to play my violin when it's raining. I hate this. I want to go home," he thought. Just then, Felix spoke up, his voice reserved. The prince was shorter than other children his age and had a weak voice to match his timid nature. Elliot's father, Count Dasby, asked, "What is the matter, sir?" The boy fidgeted, playing with his fingers, until at last he said weakly, "Count Dasby, I want to play chess with Elliot today." "And that's check," said Elliot, taking a black pawn with his white knight. Felix was clearly rattled. He knit his brows in thought, then moved his black queen. In this situation, should I do this? Checkmate. Oh. Despite playing without a queen, Elliot won the game in no time at all. "You've got a long way to go, Prince," he said with a mean-spirited chuckle. Felix's shoulders slumped in defeat as an attendant standing behind him set down a cup of tea. Apparently, he'd been ready to give it to the prince the moment the chess game ended. The talented young man then followed up with the prince's favorite snack. "Sir, what of your violin?" the attendant asked. "You've been practicing so much. You wanted to play that concerto with Lord Howard, right?" Felix's eyebrows lowered into a weak smile. "I'd rather play violin on a clear day." The prince had figured it out. He knew Elliot hated playing on rainy days. Felix Arc-Riddle wasn't great at studying or physical activity. He was a shy, cowardly, unreliable prince. But to Elliot, the boy was also the kindest person he'd ever met. The kind-hearted prince gulped down his tea. "Elliot, when it's clear again, let's play violin together." "Works for me. Next clear day we get, that's what we'll do. You better practice a lot, Prince." Elliot waited for the attendant to leave the table before whispering something else into the prince's ear. "And practice climbing trees, too." "Okay." The considerate attendant pretended not to hear the two boys' secret as they grinned at each other, full of mischief.